The blue skies above New York darkened without warning. It wasn't a storm. Something else blocked the sun, something massive and not of this world. Admiral James Thompson stood on the roof of the United Nations building, squinting upward as the massive ship hovered above the city. Similar reports were coming in from London, Beijing, Moscow, and Delhi. 5 ships each the size of a small town had appeared in Earth's atmosphere without warning. "Do we have any contact?" Thompson asked, pressing U. The communicator in his ear, his aide, Lieutenant Baker, shook his head. "Nothing, sir. We've tried all frequencies, they're not responding." Thompson frowned. Humanity had long prepared for this moment, first contact with alien life, but no one expected it to happen like this, with massive warships appearing unannounced over major cities. "Keep trying," he ordered, "and get me a direct line to the president in the control room." 12 floors below, Dr. Anna Wilson worked frantically to analyze the strange energy, readings coming from the alien vessels she had spent her life searching for signs of extraterrestrial intelligence. But now that they were here, a sense of dread filled her stomach. "These readings don't make sense," she muttered to her team. "They're building up power." But for what she got, her answer 3 minutes later, the first beam struck the center of Central Park, vaporizing everything within a half-mile radius. The blast wave shattered windows across Manhattan, sending deadly glass shards flying through crowded streets before anyone could process what had happened. A second beam hit the financial district. Similar attacks began in every city with an alien ship hovering above it. No warning. No demands, just destruction. "This is not first contact," Thompson said grimly as he watched the devastation unfold on monitors. "This is an invasion. Within the first hour, over 2 million people died. Worldwide military forces scrambled to respond, but conventional weapons seemed useless against the alien ship's advanced shielding technology in the Pentagon's Emergency Command Center." General Frank Morris slammed his fist on the table. "We need to hit them with everything we've got, nuclear options included, that would kill millions of our own people." The Secretary of Defense argued, "They're already killing millions." Morris shot back, "And they won't stop until we show them we can fight back." The president gave the order. Despite the terrible cost, humanity would not surrender without a fight. What happened next surprised everyone, especially the aliens. Major Marcus Reed led the first successful counterattack from Edwards Air Force Base in California. Instead of targeting the alien ship directly, Reed noticed a pattern in their attack sequence. There was a 3-second vulnerability in their shields when they fired their main weapon. "All squadrons target point Alpha 7 when I give the mark." Reed ordered his pilots wait for them to charge their weapon, hit them precisely when they fire. 20 fighter jets waited in position when the alien ship began its next attack run. They struck simultaneously at the exact moment of shield weakness. The explosion wasn't large, but it damaged one of the ship's engines. Black smoke poured from the wound as the massive vessel tilted awkwardly in the sky. "It worked," someone shouted over the comm channel. Reed remained focused. "Again, same target, don't get cocky." The second strike hit harder. The alien ship began to lose altitude, crashing into the empty desert miles from any population center. Similar tactics were quickly shared with military forces worldwide. By the end of the first day, humanity had managed to bring down 3 of the 5 alien ships. The cost was tremendous. Nearly 15 million dead, major cities in ruins, and the environment damaged by both alien weapons and the desperate nuclear strikes that followed. But something unexpected happened. The remaining 2 alien ships retreated to high orbit, apparently shocked by Earth's resistance. "They didn't expect us to fight back effectively," Dr. Wilson observed as she studied readings from the damaged alien ship in the California desert. "They thought this would be easy." While the world began to assess the damage, a small alien craft detached from one of the remaining ships. It descended rapidly, landing near the research facility where Wilson and her team had gathered before anyone could react. A squad of tall, gray-skinned beings emerged and grabbed Major Reed, who had been inspecting the crash site. They disappeared back into their craft, which shot into the sky before fighter jets could respond. "They took him," Lieutenant Baker reported to Admiral Thompson. "They took Reed." Thompson's face hardened. "Then they're not just invaders, they're kidnappers too." In the weeks that followed, humanity began to rebuild while preparing for the aliens to return. Every nation set aside their differences, pooling resources and knowledge to develop new weapons and defenses. The crashed alien ships provided valuable technology that scientists like Dr. Wilson worked day and night to understand 3 months after what became known as the first wave. A discovery changed everything in a secure underground lab beneath the Rocky Mountains. Wilson managed to activate a communication device from one of the alien ships. "It's some kind of recording," she told Admiral Thompson as they watched holographic images of the aliens speaking. In their strange clicking language, "I think it's their mission briefing before they attacked Earth, though they couldn't understand." The images showed maps of Earth with certain regions highlighted, mostly areas rich in rare minerals and water. They didn't come here for conquest. Wilson realized they came here for resources. "We're just in their way." Thompson nodded. Grimly, "Then we need to make sure we're too much trouble to be worth it when they come back." And they would come back. Everyone knew that the question was how much time humans had to prepare in orbit around Mars, hidden from Earth's detection major. Marcus Reed awoke in a small cell aboard the alien mothership. His captors studied him daily, astonished by human resilience and adaptability. What they didn't realize was that Reed studied them too, memorizing their language, technology, and weaknesses. "You primitive species surprised us," the alien commander told him through a crude translation device. "But the Crescent Alliance has conquered hundreds of worlds. Your resistance is temporary." Reed didn't respond, but inwardly he smiled. These aliens had made a critical mistake. They had judged humanity by its technology, not by its spirit, and they had taken him alive instead of killing him. Giving him the chance to learn about them one day, he promised himself he would escape. He would return to Earth with knowledge that might save his species, because if there was one thing he had learned about these aliens, it was that they always finished what they started. Earth had won the first battle, but the war was just beginning. 5 years passed since the first wave attack. Earth had changed dramatically. Where once stood hundreds of nations with their own agendas and armies, now stood a united planet under the Earth Defense Coalition. Old enemies worked together, borders became less important, and humanity focused on a single goal: survival. Admiral Thompson stood at the window of the new Global Defense Headquarters, built into Mount Everest. The facility had been designed to withstand any attack from above through the reinforced glass. He could see the massive construction projects that dotted the Himalayan range, weapon platforms, shield generators, and research facilities. "Adam, you need to see this," Lieutenant Baker said, interrupting his thoughts. Now a full commander, Baker had become Thompson's right hand in the CIA. Years since the attack, Thompson followed him to the central command room where Dr. Anna Wilson waited. Her hair had more gray now, and permanent dark circles rested under her eyes, the result of working almost non-stop for 5 years. "I've done it," she said, unable to hide her excitement. "I've cracked their language." She activated a holographic display showing strange symbols that shifted and changed the alien language. What we now know is called Crescent Standard, works on 3 levels simultaneously. It's not just sound, but also light patterns and electromagnetic signals. That's why our initial translation attempts failed. Thompson studied the display. "Can we communicate with them now? Better than that," Wilson replied. "I can translate everything we recovered from their ships, including their databases, tactical information, and military communications." Baker whistled. "That's a game changer. There's more," Wilson continued. "We received a transmission from Mars orbit an hour ago. It was weak and coded in their language, but with a human pattern." She looked up at Thompson with hope in her eyes. "It's Reed. He's alive, and he's coming home 3 days later." Thompson stood in a secure hangar beneath the Rocky Mountains. A small alien craft had been detected entering Earth's atmosphere, evading detection until the last possible moment, using technology far beyond human capabilities. It had transmitted a single message in the alien's language: friendly. "Reed returning. Do not shoot." The craft landed smoothly, its door opened with a hiss, and out stepped a man who barely resembled the Major Marcus Reed who had been taken 5 years ago. He was thinner, his hair completely gray. Despite being only 38 years old, strange metallic implants were visible at his temples and along his left arm. Admiral Reed set his voice from disuse permission to return to duty. Thompson stepped forward and embraced the man, protocol forgotten. Welcome home, son. After medical examinations confirmed Reed was indeed human, and not carrying any alien bioweapons or tracking devices, he met with Earth's Leadership Council. The story he told changed their understanding of the threat they faced. They call themselves the Crescent Alliance, Reed explained, pointing to a holographic map of the galaxy. They control about 30% of our galaxy, mostly in this spiral arm. They're not a single species, but a coalition of 8 different alien races united under a central government. Wilson leaned forward, and their interest in Earth resources primarily. Our planet has an unusually high concentration of rare elements they need for their technology, but there's more to it. Reed's face darkened. In their culture, expanding territories is how they measure success. They're constantly looking for new worlds to claim. Did they know we were here, that Earth was inhabited? Asked General Morris. Reed nodded. They knew, they just didn't care. In their hierarchy of species, we ranked as primitives, barely more advanced than animals, not worth negotiating with. He touched one of the implants at his temple. They put these in me to study how humans think. They were shocked by how quickly I adapted, how fast I learned their language and technology. What happened during your captivity? Thompson asked gently. Reed's eyes showed a flash of pain before he continued. I was kept on their command ship orbiting Mars. They thought they'd broken me, turned me into a cooperative test subject. I played along, gaining their trust, while learning everything I could. When they finally let me work as a maintenance technician, I spent months planning my escape. He pulled a small data crystal from his pocket. I stole this before I left. It contains technical specifications for their most advanced weapons shield systems and faster-than-light travel technology. With this, we might have a chance when they return. When will that be? Thompson asked the question everyone feared. 5 years, maybe less. Reed answered grimly. They're assembling a much larger force. The next attack won't be 5 ships. It will be hundreds. The next day, Reed stood with Dr. Wilson in her laboratory as they connected the alien data crystal to Earth's most advanced computer system. We've made progress with their technology, Wilson explained as information began flooding the screens around them. We've reverse-engineered their shield systems and energy weapons, but their faster-than-light drive has been beyond our understanding. Reed pointed to one of the schematics appearing on screen. This is what you need. Their FTL drive works by creating a quantum bubble that exists partially outside normal space. It doesn't move the ship through space. It moves space around the ship. Wilson stared at the equations with wonder. This changes everything with this technology. We could build our own starships. We'll need them, Reed said. Because there's something else I learned during my captivity. Earth isn't alone in being targeted. By the Crescent Alliance, there are dozens of other worlds facing the same threat, some fighting back, others already conquered. Over the following months, Reed worked closely with scientists and military leaders, sharing everything he had learned. Earth's defense platforms were upgraded with more powerful weapons. A prototype gravity cannon was built that could theoretically tear apart an alien ship from the inside and deep beneath the Pacific Ocean. Engineers began construction on humanity's first faster-than-light capable vessel. During this time, Reed frequently found himself working alongside Dr. Wilson. Despite the constant pressure and looming threat, they developed a close friendship. She was one of the few people who didn't treat him differently because of his implants or his time with the aliens. Sometimes I wonder if I'm still human, Reed admitted to her one night as they worked late in the lab. They changed parts of me, I think, in their language. Sometimes. Wilson placed her hand on his. You're human where it counts, Marcus. You came back to help us. That took courage. No alien could understand. They underestimate us, Reed said. That's their weakness, they think, in terms of technology levels and resources they don't understand. Human determination or creativity, Wilson smiled. Then we'll show them 6 months before the estimated return of the Crescent Alliance. Earth completed its orbital defense grid, a network of 300 platforms armed with gravity weapons, energy cannons, and missile systems. The first human starship, named Defiance, was ready for its test flight, and deep in secure facilities around the world. Thousands of soldiers trained with new weapons designed to fight the aliens on the ground if necessary. Admiral Thompson stood with Reed on the observation deck of the lunar base, looking back at Earth. From here, The planet seemed peaceful, its blue oceans and white clouds showing no sign of the frantic preparations below. "Do you think we have a chance?" Thompson asked. Reed considered the question carefully. "They're coming back with more ships, more advanced weapons. By all logical calculations, we should lose." He turned to face the Admiral. "But they don't understand what they created when they attacked us. They united humanity in a way nothing else could have, and they gave us time to prepare. Time you helped us use wisely." Thompson said. Reed nodded toward Earth. "We're no longer the primitives they attacked 5 years ago. We've learned their language, their technology, their weaknesses, and most importantly," Reed's eyes hardened with determination, "we've learned that they can bleed," as if answering his words. A distant flash appeared near Mars. The early warning system immediately blared an alarm throughout the base. The second wave had arrived. The alarm echoed through the lunar base as Reed and Admiral Thompson rushed to the command center. Massive, holographic displays showed the approaching alien fleet, not 5 ships as before, but over 200 vessels of various sizes, surrounding a central command ship 3 times larger than anything seen in the first wave. "They're not wasting time," Thompson said, watching as the fleet accelerated toward Earth. "All defense stations. This is Admiral Thompson, battle positions. This is not a drill across Earth's orbit." The 300 defense platforms powered up their weapons on the ground. Civilians moved into underground shelters built during the 5-year preparation period. Military forces took their positions at key strategic locations. Reed studied the approaching formation with experienced eye. They're using standard Crescent Alliance attack pattern. The smaller ships will form a protective screen, while the larger vessels position for planetary bombardment, just like you predicted. Thompson nodded. "Let's hope our countermeasures work as well." Dr. Wilson joined them, bringing up additional tactical displays. "The gravity weapons are charged and ready. Remember, we only get one surprise." Thompson turned to the communications officer. "Patch me through to all Earth forces." When the connection was established, his voice rang out to every soldier, pilot, and civilian worker involved in Earth's defense. 5 years ago, they came to our world believing we were easy prey. They killed millions before we drove them away. Today, they return thinking their numbers will make a difference. They're wrong. We have studied them. We have prepared for them. We know their weaknesses today. We show the galaxy that humanity will never be victims again. Stand firm, fight smart, protect our home." The alien fleet entered lunar orbit exactly as Reed had predicted they would, using Earth's moon to shield their approach. They didn't expect what happened next. Now Thompson ordered, concealed beneath the lunar surface, 50 gravity cannons activated simultaneously. These weapons, based on alien technology, but refined by human ingenuity, didn't fire energy or projectiles. Instead, they created localized distortions in gravitational fields. The effect was devastating. 20 alien ships at the front of the formation were caught in suddenly warping. Gravity wells, metal holes crumpled like paper, as gravitational forces, thousands of times normal, pulled in conflicting directions. Ships collided with each other, their own engines tearing them apart as they fought against the impossible forces. For a moment, silence filled the command center as everyone watched the destruction unfold. Then a cheer erupted. "They're breaking formation." Reed observed. "They didn't expect us to have this technology." The remaining alien fleet scattered, then regrouped, adjusting their approach to avoid the lunar gravity weapons as they neared Earth. They faced the full orbital defense grid. "All platforms engage at will." Thompson ordered. Space lit up with energy beams, missile contrails, and explosions. As Earth's defenses met the alien attack head-on, the Crescent Alliance had superior numbers, but Earth had the advantage of fighting from prepared positions with weapons specifically designed to counter alien technology. On the main display, Reed watched as alien ships tried to penetrate the defense grid. "They're adapting quickly," he warned. "Their flagship is coordinating new attack patterns." "Can we target their command ship?" Thompson asked. Wilson shook her head. "It's staying behind the main fleet, protected by their strongest shields. Then we stick to the plan." Thompson decided. "Defense grid, maintain position defiance. You are cleared to launch from a hidden base beneath the Pacific Ocean." Earth's first starship rose. Unlike the massive alien vessels, Defiance was small and sleek, designed for speed and stealth rather than overwhelming firepower. Its mission wasn't to engage the fleet directly, but to target the one weakness Reed had discovered during his captivity. Captain Laura Miller guided Defiance through the chaos of battle, using the ship's advanced stealth systems to avoid detection approaching position. She reported ready to execute Phase 2, while the aliens focused on breaking through Earth's orbital defenses. They failed to notice the small human ship slipping past their formation. Defiance approached the massive flagship from below, targeting a specific section. Reed had identified the central communication array that coordinated the entire fleet were in position. Miller reported deploying payload. Defiance released dozens of small drones that attached themselves to the flagship's hull. These weren't weapons, but specialized signal disruptors designed to infiltrate the alien communication systems. In the lunar Command Center, Wilson monitored the operation disruptors online, initiating signal override. Now, for 3 critical seconds, the alien fleet lost all communication with their command ship. In those seconds, Earth's defense grid concentrated all firepower on specific weak points in the E-alien formation. 30 more enemy ships were destroyed or disabled before they could reorganize its working. Thompson exclaimed, "Their coordination is failing." But the Crescent Alliance wasn't defeated so easily. The AIC flagship quickly adapted, switching to backup communication systems. The remaining ships, still over a 100-strong, regrouped and pressed their attack with renewed determination. They're breaking through in Sector 7, a tactical officer reported as several alien ships slipped past damaged defense platforms. Reed studied the tactical display. They're heading for the Australian defense complex. That's where we're manufacturing the gravity weapons. Thompson made a quick decision. Ground forces prepare for invasion. All available air support to Australian sector. The battle shifted to Earth's surface as 5 alien landing craft descended through the atmosphere. They landed in the Red Desert of Central Australia, deploying ground forces to attack the heavily fortified human facility. General Morris commanded the ground defense from a bunker beneath the complex. All units engage, according to training protocols. Remember, these aren't invincible gods. They're aliens who can die just like anyone else. The fighting was intense. Alien soldiers used advanced energy weapons and power armor, but humans had spent years preparing for this exact scenario. Soldiers equipped with reverse-engineered alien technology held defensive positions around the facility while armored vehicles counterattacked from hidden bunkers. What surprised the aliens most wasn't the human technology, but their adaptability. When energy shields blocked direct attacks, human forces used the environment against them, collapsing cliff faces onto alien positions and deploying specialized electromagnetic pulses that disrupted their armor systems in orbit. The battle continued. Earth's defense grid was taking heavy damage but inflicting significant losses on the alien fleet. Defiance continued its hit-and-run attacks, targeting enemy communications and sensors. 5 hours into the battle, the tide began to turn. The alien fleet, having lost nearly half its ships, altered its strategy. A single large vessel broke through the weakened defenses and positioned itself above the Australian complex. "They're preparing to fire their main weapon," Reed warned, recognizing the energy signature. "If that hits the facility, all our ground forces will be lost." Thompson faced an impossible choice: divert orbital defenses to protect Australia, leaving other regions vulnerable, or sacrifice the complex and everyone defending it. Before he could decide, Captain Miller's voice came through the comm system. "Defiance moving to intercept. We have 1 gravity torpedo remaining." "Miller, that's too close," Thompson protested. "Your ship won't survive the blast radius, neither will theirs," Miller replied calmly. "It's been an honor." Admiral Defiance accelerated directly toward the alien vessel, dodging defensive fire as it closed the distance at the last possible moment. It fired its final weapon, a concentrated gravity weapon similar to the lunar cannons, but miniaturized at great cost. The explosion created a temporary black hole that consumed both Defiance and the alien ship. The gravitational shockwave damaged several nearby alien vessels, creating chaos in their formation on the ground. General Morris seized the opportunity. "All units full advance. They're disorganized." Human forces pushed forward, targeting the Yao alien command units in the confusion. A special forces team led by Colonel West penetrated the main alien landing craft. Their objective wasn't to destroy it, but to capture the alien commander alive. After fierce fighting, they succeeded. General Krell of the Crescent Alliance, the architect of both attacks on Earth, was secured and evacuated as his forces began a disorganized retreat in orbit. The remaining alien ships withdrew, jumping to faster than light speed. When they cleared Earth's gravity well within hours, the second wave attack was over. Earth had survived again, but at great cost. 17 defense platforms destroyed, thousands of soldiers killed, and the brave crew of Defiance lost in the Lunar Command Center. Admiral Thompson, Reed, and Dr. Wilson gathered around a holographic display, showing the aftermath of the battle. Debris from destroyed ships orbited Earth like a new ring of artificial asteroids. "We won," Thompson said quietly. "But they'll be back with an even larger force unless we do something to end this permanently." Reed nodded, his expression grim but determined. "That's why we need to interrogate General Krell, and then we need to take the fight to them." Wilson looked up. "In surprise, you're suggesting we attack the Crescent Alliance?" "No," Reed said. "I'm suggesting we send a message the entire galaxy will understand, one that ensures no one will ever attack Earth again." General Krell of the Crescent Alliance sat motionless in the interrogation chamber. His gray skin had a sickly blue tint under the bright lights, and the forearms typical of his species were restrained to the specially designed chair. Despite his captivity, his posture remained proud, almost arrogant. Across from him, Marcus Reed studied the alien commander who had orchestrated 2 attacks on Earth. Reed's implants glowed faintly as he prepared to speak in the alien's native language. "You have lost, General." Reed said the words coming out in the clicking, multi-tone-owned language of the Crescent Alliance. "Your fleet is destroyed or scattered. Your ground forces eliminated. You are our prisoner." Krell's vertical pupils narrowed. "This changes nothing. The Alliance controls thousands of worlds. We have millions of ships. This defeat is temporary." "Then why did you come yourself?" Reed asked. "Why lead this attack personally for the first time?" The alien showed hesitation. The High Command required direct oversight after the first failure. Reed leaned forward. "You mean they blamed you for underestimating us the first time, and you had to redeem yourself?" The general didn't respond, but the darkening of his skin confirmed Reed's guess. "We know about the resource deposits," Reed continued, "the rare elements in Earth's crust that your alliance needs. But there's more to this. Isn't there something you're not telling us?" Admiral Thompson and Dr. Wilson watched the interrogation from behind a one-way glass window. "He's good," Thompson remarked. "The implants help him read their physiological responses." Wilson nodded. "It's more than that. Reed thinks like them now, understands their culture and hierarchy. He knows exactly which buttons to push inside." The chamber. Krell finally spoke again. "Your world is uniquely positioned. The space around your solar system creates a natural, faster-than-light pathway. Control of this region would reduce travel times across 1/4 of the galaxy. A strategic location." Reed translated for the benefit of the humans monitoring the conversation. "You are primitive, sitting on valuable territory," Krell said dismissively. "The natural order is for advanced civilizations to claim such resources." Reed smiled thinly. "Yet twice now these primitives have defeated your forces. It changes nothing." Krell's voice rose, the translator rendering his agitation clearly. "The Alliance will send another fleet larger than before, and another after. That we do not stop until we claim what we want, unless the cost becomes too high." Reed suggested. Krell made a sound that the translator interpreted as laughter. "What cost could primitives like you possibly impose that would deter the mighty Crescent Alliance?" Reed stood. "That's what we're going to show you 3 days later in a secure facility." Beneath the Rocky Mountains, Earth's Leadership Council gathered to hear Reed's proposal. The room was tense as he outlined his plan. "The Crescent Alliance respects only one thing: power," Reed explained. "As long as they believe they can eventually wear us down, they'll keep coming. We need to demonstrate that attacking Earth comes with consequences no civilization can afford." Dr. Wilson brought up a holographic display of the galaxy, highlighting a specific star system. This is Krell's home system containing the Alliance's central government world, Cresia Prime. You're suggesting we attack their homeworld? General Morris asked, leaning forward with interest. Not exactly, Reed said. What I'm proposing is more decisive. He nodded to Wilson, who zoomed the display in on the system star, a stable yellow sun similar to Earth's using the data we've gathered and the technology we've developed. We can construct a device that can destabilize a star's fusion process. Reed explained not enough to cause a supernova, but enough to create a massive solar flare that would disable all technology in the system for several days. Admiral Thompson's expression was grave. You're talking about a weapon that could hold an entire civilization hostage. I'm talking about a deterrent. Reed corrected. We don't use it unless provoked again, but we demonstrate that we could. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. There's more, Reed continued. While their systems are down, we broadcast our message to every world in the galaxy. We make it clear that Earth will defend itself, and any further aggression will be met with devastating consequences. President Howard, who had led the Earth Defense Coalition since its formation, spoke for the first time, the message being attack again and die. Reed nodded exactly after hours of debate. The council voted, the plan was approved, but with conditions the star weapon would be built, but used only as a last resort. The primary mission would be to demonstrate Earth's new technological capabilities and deliver the warning 2 months later. Earth launched its first interstellar fleet, 3 ships built using the knowledge gained from alien technology, but distinctly human. In design, prepared to make the jump to faster-than-light travel. Named Retribution, Justice, and Deterrent, they represented humanity's entry onto the galactic stage. Admiral Thompson commanded from Retribution, with Reed serving as his executive officer and cultural advisor. Dr. Wilson joined them, bringing her scientific expertise and a deep understanding of the alien technology they had adapted as the ships prepared to depart. Thompson addressed the crews. We go not as conquerors but as messengers. Earth has been attacked twice without provocation. We will not allow a third attack today. We take our place among the stars not by asking permission, but by demanding respect. The journey to the Crescent, Alliance home world, took 3 weeks even at faster than light speeds. During that time, General Krell remained in a secure holding cell aboard Retribution. Reed visited him daily, extracting more information about Alliance defenses and political structures. They won't believe you're capable of what you claim, Krell warned during one such session. No species develops star destabilizing technology so quickly. That's why we're bringing you along, Reed replied. You'll verify our capabilities. Krell's skin darkened with what Reed recognized as fear. If I do this, my name will be marked as a traitor for all time. Better a living traitor than a dead hero, Reed said, using an old Alliance proverb that made the general's eyes widen in surprise when the Earth fleet arrived at the edge of the Cresian system. They were immediately detected by Alliance monitoring stations within hours. They were surrounded by defensive ships, hundreds of them forming a blockade around the human vessels. They're hailing us, the communications officer reported. Thompson nodded to Reed, who stepped forward on screen. The face that appeared belonged to a different alien species than Krell, this one with ridged skin and multiple eye stalks. Unidentified vessels you have entered Crescent Alliance sovereign space. Identify yourselves or be destroyed. Reed responded in perfect Alliance standard language. This is Marcus Reed of Earth speaking for humanity. We bring your General Krell and a message for your High Command. The alien's eye stalks twitched in surprise at hearing a human speak their language so fluently. After a brief conversation off-screen, the alien returned. You will be escorted to a holding position. Attempts to move from this designated area will be met with immediate destruction when the transmission ended. Thompson turned to Reed. They're stalling while they bring in more ships as expected. Reed nodded. Prepare the demonstration device from Deterrent Cargo Bay. A small probe was launched toward the system star, too small to be considered a threat. It was largely ignored by the Alliance fleet focused on the human ship's probe. In position, Wilson reported 6 hours later, ready for activation. Thompson looked at Reed, who gave a solemn nod. Proceed. The probe activated. sending a precisely calibrated pulse into the star's outer layers. The effect was immediate and dramatic. A massive solar flare erupted far larger than anything naturally occurring Alliance ship's sensors, and communications instantly overloaded from the radiation surge. In the confusion, Justice launched a series of communication satellites that positioned themselves throughout the system. When activated, they hijacked every communication frequency used by the Alliance on every screen, on every ship, on every Alliance world within range. Reed's face appeared behind him. Stood Admiral Thompson, Dr. Wilson, and other human officers. General Krell was visible as well, alive, but clearly a prisoner people. Of the Crescent Alliance and all civilizations watching, Reed began his words, automatically translated into hundreds of languages. I speak for Earth. Twice your forces have attacked our world without provocation. Twice we have defeated them. The camera pulled back to show a view of the system star visibly disturbed by the human weapon. What you just witnessed was a demonstration of our capability affecting only the outer layer of your star. Our full weapon could destabilize your entire sun, rendering your home world uninhabitable. Reed paused, letting the implications sink. And we do not seek war. We do not seek conquest. We seek only to live in peace. But know this, and spread the word to all corners of the galaxy. Earth is now and forever a sovereign. World attack us again and your civilization dies. This is our first, last, and only warning. Reed finished with a phrase in the formal Alliance diplomatic language that translated roughly to the matter is decided, let none question it further. As the transmission ended, the human fleet prepared for the return journey, leaving behind a stunned and frightened Alliance fleet that made no move to stop them aboard Retribution. Thompson looked out at the stars. Do you think they'll listen? Reed watched as Krell was escorted back to his cell. They understand power. We've just shown them that humanity has more of it than they thought possible. And if they call our bluff? Wilson asked quietly. Reed's expression was grim. Then we prove it wasn't a bluff, as the Earth ships jumped to faster than light speed. News of what had happened spread across the galaxy at an even faster pace. Earth's message and its warning would soon reach every civilized world. Attack again and die. The line had been drawn 6 months after Earth's fleet returned from the Crescent Alliance homeworld. The planet experienced something unprecedented in human history. Silence from the stars, no threats, no approaching fleets, no alien aggression of any kind, just an uneasy quiet that spread across the solar system. Admiral Thompson stood in the newly constructed Earth Embassy, a massive structure built in what was once the devastated center of New York City. Through the tall windows, he could see the rebuilt skyline, now featuring architecture influenced by recovered alien technology, buildings that seemed to defy gravity, transportation tubes that glowed with energy, and defense systems disguised as artistic installations. Any word from our monitoring stations? Thompson asked Reed, who had just entered the room. Reed shook his head. Nothing direct, but our long-range sensors are picking up a lot of activity at the edge of our detection. Range ships approaching, then turning away. They're curious but afraid. Dr. Wilson joined them, bringing data tablets filled with reports. The star-stabilizing technology is working perfectly, she said. We've managed to help 3 threatened systems. Already this had been an unexpected development. After demonstrating their ability to destabilize a star, Earth scientists had also developed the technology to do the opposite, to calm solar activity and prevent natural stellar disasters. It was a perfect balance, the power to destroy matched by the power to save. How are the diplomatic preparations coming? Thompson asked. Reed pulled up a holographic display showing dozens of alien species in their known territories. We've identified 27 civilizations that have either been threatened or attacked by the Crescent Alliance. 7 have already sent encrypted messages requesting dialogue, and the Alliance itself. Wilson asked. Still silent officially, Reed replied. But according to our intelligence network, their high command is in chaos. Krell's return with our message sparked a political crisis. Half their leadership wants to gather an overwhelming force to attack us again. The other half argues it's not worth the risk. Thompson studied the galactic map thoughtfully. They're used to being the strongest power in this sector. We've challenged that position. which is why we need to move forward. With the next phase, Reed said 1 week later, the Earth Embassy hosted its first official galactic diplomatic reception. Representatives from 12 different species arrived in ships that kept a respectful distance until given explicit permission to approach. The memory of what happened to the Alliance fleet was still fresh in everyone's mind. President Howard greeted each delegation personally, with Reed serving as translator and cultural advisor. The scene was extraordinary. Beings of all shapes, sizes, and biological compositions gathered in a human building, cautiously examining their hosts. "We welcome you to Earth," President Howard said as the formal proceedings began. "For too long, our world remained isolated, unaware of the wider galactic community. Our introduction was through violence, but our path forward need not be." The translator devices converted his words into the appropriate languages for each delegation. The response from the alien representatives was a mixture of curiosity and weariness. A tall crystalline being stepped forward according to Reed's briefing. This was Ambassador Lenar of the Veston Collective. One of the older civilizations in the sector. Earth has demonstrated remarkable power, Lenar said, light pulsing through its crystalline form as it spoke. "The question that concerns many worlds is how you intend to use this." President Howard nodded to Reed, who took over the response. "Earth seeks 3 things. Reed said, speaking in the formal diplomatic language he had learned during his captivity. "First, recognition of our sovereignty and our right to exist. Undisturbed, second, fair access to interstellar trade and knowledge exchange. Third, the establishment of mutual defense agreements with peaceful worlds." This last point caused a stir among the gathered representatives. A delegation of small furry beings that Reed had identified as Marathi conferred among themselves before their leader spoke. "The Crescent Alliance has dominated this sector for centuries," the Marathi representative said. "They have taken our outer colonies, imposed unfair trade terms, and threatened worse if we resist what you suggest would challenge their authority directly. Their authority was challenged the moment they attacked Earth and failed." Reed replied twice. The room fell silent at this reminder. Ambassador Linner's crystalline form glowed brighter. "What exactly are you proposing, humans?" President Howard stepped forward again. "A new alliance, not one based on conquest and subjugation, like the Crescent Alliance, but one founded on mutual respect and protection. Any world that wishes to join will receive Earth's guarantee of defense against aggression." "With what fleet?" asked another representative. "You have demonstrated impressive technology, but the Alliance has thousands of warships." Admiral Thompson activated a holographic display showing Earth's orbital shipyards. Dozens of vessels were under construction, each incorporating the best of human innovation and adapted alien technology. "We're building," Thompson said simply, "and we learn quickly." 2 years passed. Earth's diplomatic initiative, which became known as the Terran Protective Coalition, grew to include 37 worlds. Each member contributed resources, knowledge, and in some cases military assets to the common defense. In return, they received Earth's protection and access to human innovations, particularly medical and agricultural technologies that human scientists had rapidly developed by studying alien biology. Marcus Reed became Earth's first ambassador to the Galactic Council, a neutral forum where all spacefaring civilizations could present grievances and negotiate agreements. His unique understanding of both human and alien perspectives made him ideally suited for the role. On his first appearance before the Council, Reed faced representatives from over 200 worlds, including, finally, a delegation from the Yaf Crescent Alliance. "Earth was unknown to us until recently," Reed began, his voice carrying through the vast chamber. "We did not ask to be thrust onto the galactic stage. We did not seek conflict with the Crescent Alliance or any civilization." The Alliance representatives shifted uncomfortably as Reed continued. "But when attacked, we defended ourselves. When threatened with extinction, we responded with determination. And now that we understand our place in this galaxy, we offer a simple choice to all worlds: peaceful coexistence or mutual assured destruction." A murmur ran through the assembled representatives. "The Terran Protective Coalition is not an empire. We do not seek to conquer or control. We ask only for respect for ourselves and for all sentient beings who wish to live free from domination. The head of the Crescent Alliance delegation, a tall figure, from the same species as General Krell, rose to respond. The Alliance acknowledges the unusual capabilities Earth has demonstrated. The representative said, choosing words carefully, "We propose a formal treaty, establishing boundaries and non-aggression pacts." Reed smiled slightly. "We accept under one condition: the Alliance must release all worlds currently under its control that wish independence." The Alliance representative's skin darkened with anger. "That is unacceptable. Those worlds are Alliance territory, by right of conquest." Reed interrupted. "Those days are over. The galaxy is changing. Adapt or be left behind." The Ya debate raged for days, but eventually, a compromise was reached. The Alliance would grant greater autonomy to its subject worlds and cease expansion through military means. In return, Earth would share certain non-military technologies and establish formal diplomatic relations. It wasn't perfect, but it was a beginning. 5 years after the second wave attack, Admiral Thompson stood on the observation deck of Earth's newest vessel, the Peacekeeper, at 2 kilometers long. It was the largest ship humans had ever built, not primarily a warship, but an exploration vessel designed to carry Earth's scientists, diplomats, and cultural representatives into the deepest reaches of the galaxy. Beside him stood Dr. Wilson, now director of the Interspecies Scientific Exchange, and Reed returned briefly from his diplomatic duties. "It's hard to believe how far we've come," Wilson said, watching Earth grow smaller as the ship prepared for its maiden voyage. "From nearly being conquered to becoming a major galactic power in just a few years, we had good teachers," Ray said with irony. "The Alliance showed us exactly what not to do with power: conquer, subjugate, destroy." Thompson nodded instead. "We protect, collaborate, and explore." A communication came through, and Reed's attention was drawn to a message on his personal device. The Council vote just finished. He announced the Galactic Non-Aggression Pact has been ratified by all major powers, including the Crescent Alliance. The three humans stood in silence, absorbing the significance of the moment. "So it worked," Thompson said finally. "Our warning: attack again and die." Reed quoted: "Simple, direct, effective." But ultimately, it wasn't just the threat that changed things. Wilson observed, "It was what we did after offering protection to weaker worlds sharing technology, building something better than what existed before." As the Peacekeeper prepared to jump to faster than light speed, Reed looked out at the stars spreading before them. The Alliance thought they found primitives sitting on valuable territory. He said instead, they found the one thing the galaxy needed. Most a civilization that understood the true cost of war but still believed in peace. Thompson smiled. "So what's next for humanity?" Ambassador Reed gestured at the endless expanse of stars. "Exploration, discovery. The kind of adventure humans have always dreamed about." His expression turned serious, "But we'll never forget the lesson we learned. Sometimes, peace must be protected with strength." The Peacekeeper's engines hummed as it prepared to jump. "Earth remains ready," Thompson said quietly. "Our warning still stands, but I hope we never have to prove it again." The ship leapt into faster-than-light travel, carrying humanity's representatives deeper into the galaxy than they had ever gone before, not as conquerors, but as protectors and explorers behind them. Earth stood secure, a beacon of both warning and hope. To the stars, the galaxy had learned its lesson. Earth would defend itself and its allies without hesitation or mercy if attacked, but it would also extend friendship and protection to those who sought peaceful cooperation. Attack again and die, a simple message that had changed the course of galactic history and humanity's destiny among the stars.